The Chia sisters, Florence and Chloe Van Dyke, have won a few accolades since starting their drinks company named after themselves. Florence made the Forbes Under 30 Asia list this year, and NBR's Fiona Rotherham spoke to Florence and Chloe about family businesses.
How does being sisters affect how you run a business together?
Well, I think that we share a lot of the same qualities, but we're also very, very different. And in a way that means that because we have different strengths, we can,
complement each other. And I think also we know each other's boundaries and what we're good at and what we're not good at. So it makes it easier to support one another.
So your dad is the third owner along with the two of you, isn't he? Do you talk business when you get together at family gatherings, or how does that go?
A bit too much, probably.
Yeah.
We've also got a brother, and I'm sure he gets very sick of all our business conversations.
But yeah, we really do live and breathe it, so it's hard not to.
How did you start the company?
So I started the company at the end of 2012, and the idea was to create nutritious options because Florence was training as a triathlete, my dad was a world champion swimmer, and they were looking for something to fuel them. And it felt like a lot of the drinks on the market, at least the health drinks, focused on what wasn't in them. So no added this or that, which is really important, but we want to focus on what is in it, the nutrition that would fuel you to be the best that you can be.
And what's your background that led you to doing that?
So I haven't got a business background at all. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My parents had a range of businesses from owning a restaurant through to a New Zealand nature company. But I studied neuroscience at university, so completely different. I have a huge fascination for the brain, for nutrition, for health. And I started playing with hydrated chia seeds, and then suddenly I had to run around and keep up with that because it just started going so fast.
So who does what in the company, and how do you decide that?
There's probably much overlap. We both do a bit of everything. Chloe's really fantastic at the innovation side with having that nutrition background, playing around with ingredients and coming up with new concepts. And
Florence is good at getting it done, which is very, very important. So It's fantastic having her
My
on the team.
background is in law, so I have been involved with dealing with businesses and that more corporate sales side of things.
And so how do you settle differences or make decisions where you don't agree?
We send someone off for a swim or a run. I think it was just yesterday we were having a conversation. Floss was like, right, I'm out the door for a run.
But a lot of I think a lot of our business decisions come down to our company values. So nutrition, innovation, sustainability, we always bring it back to what are we trying to do here, and sometimes we do have personal differences, but when we look at our core company values, we're always trying to achieve the same thing.
What's been your biggest challenge so far?
There's been such a range of challenges. Every day there's different challenges, which means different learning, right? So from the beginning, I think just evolving from being sort of doing it for yourself to growing a team, I've really enjoyed that process. It's not something that comes to me intuitively, so I've loved learning how to do that better. Then from the product itself, the chia is made with these hydrated chia seeds. They have this delicate gel around them. It doesn't go through other people's equipment. So that meant having to invest in learning how to design new equipment specifically for us that would mean that we could both grow and maintain the quality of the product. That's been a huge challenge. Others?
Yeah, I guess most recently something that we've been struggling with is we're doing really well in boutique and health food stores, but getting into the mainstream is really difficult because there's such big companies in the beverage industry that hold some really tight agreements with some of the biggest buyers in the country, hospitals, schools, and penetrating that now that we really are at a point where we're growing fast is really difficult.
Just touching on your people thing, you said you've had some learnings over how to grow a team. What are some of those learnings?
We're always looking at how we can bring out the best in every team member. Our team means everything to us. We feel like the people in our company are our company. So one thing we always try and do is really look at what each team member wants to achieve. So not just in the company, but what are their actual values in life and how can we get them there? How can we upskill them, even if it's to the next job if it needs to be.
Yeah.
And do you find that's harder as the company scales, though?
It's you have to think about it every single day. One of the things that we're really proud of is that when we moved from originally we had our equipment in someone else's facility and we were using their staff who were originally on the minimum wage. When we took over that factory and took over production ourselves, we brought them up to the living wage and became Nelson's first living wage certified company. Pay is just one part, but it is important. We want people to feel financially secure. Of course we do.
And the benefit from that has been great as well because, they feel like more part of the team rather than just people on the bottling line doing their job. And it's created a really positive culture, I think.
So, Florence, you were named on the Forbes Under 30 Asia list, and I see at 29 you just made it.
Just scraping through.
Has that helped the business, or what was the worth of that?
I think all publicity helps the business. There was nothing specific, but every time you get recognised and acknowledged for something, it's going to help. And I think a particular thing about that is we didn't get recognised for being the biggest company or making the most profit. We got recognised for being game changers. So we're trying to do something a bit different. We just became carbon neutral, for example. We bottled by solar power. We've got living wage in an industry that's traditionally been blessed like that.
There are some other drinks companies, though, that have those similar ambitions, don't they, within New Zealand, in fact?
Yeah, definitely. And I think consumers are wanting that more and more, which is fantastic.
Just wanted to raise Chia because you're one of the Chia companies and obviously that's an outfit that's helping young women entrepreneurs in particular. Just talk me through how valuable that's been and what you get out of it.
It's been absolutely fantastic. So we received an interest-free loan, which was absolutely great. But the best part has been the support that we have from other women around New Zealand. And the concept is that there's 300 women in New Zealand this year that are backing our company. And so whatever we need, we can ask them for it. And Vicky Saunders, the CEO, has a really nice concept. She said to us, everything you need is in here in this room with all the women people who had the activators. And it was a really lovely feeling to think, we're supported by all these people.
So do you get ongoing mentoring through that group?
Yeah.
Yeah, so fortnightly we have a mentor who we talk with and guides us through our, next big decision-making process. But also, again, all those women, they have a platform which you ask. You just say, this is what I want. And amongst those women, there is going to be someone who can help. And that feels really good.
So it makes you feel supported, but does it make the business grow faster, do you think?
It helps us with our decision making. It helps us, we could have questions from, how do we enter China to where do we find this little piece of equipment for our machine? And yes, of course, having access to that information helps our business.
And I think particularly for us, we're from Nelson, we're quite young, we don't have any background in food and beverage, and just having connections helps so much.
How is your offshore expansion going?
Good. So we are in Singapore and Malaysia through the main supermarkets over there. We are in Australia with a focus on Sydney. We've recently gone into Hong Kong.
Which I could help tee up at the Forbes conference. So
Yeah.
That was a benefit.
We've got some exciting progress happening offshore. But also a lot of focus in New Zealand. So our new Bottled by the Sun juice, which is fresh pressed and local juices named because we went solar powered, is getting a lot of traction in cafes, and that's really exciting because we realised that New Zealanders are keen to get behind that sustainability story.
You do support a bunch of causes as well. So it's, what I'm finding in young entrepreneurs in particular is it's a lot about purpose as well as profit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we really believe if you align business with your personal values, it makes it so much more fun to start with, and it gives you so much more passion, which is what you need when the going gets tough.
And just imagine what the world would be like if every business prioritised having a positive impact on both their community and the environment. It would change the world overnight. So that is really important for us. That was one of the reasons, again, why we went not only carbon neutral, but climate positive, which means we're offsetting by 120%. Before that, you have to think about reduction. Reduction's the most important. But yeah, how can we have a positive impact rather than taking? We found out through measuring our carbon footprint that we produce 22 tonnes of carbon a year, and that's too much. We don't want to have a negative impact. We want to have a positive impact, and so that's how we do business.
What advice would you give other young women entrepreneurs starting out?
I think be passionate and give everything a go, and don't be put off by the first barrier. We have sat outside supermarket offices, banging on category buyers' doors to try and get meetings. We have done all sorts of things, and often you receive a no the first time, and it's looking at other ways round. And I think also ask for support. Ask your idols and mentors what they would do, because all too often people are willing to help, and just having the confidence to ask is what you need to get that help.
What about you, Chloe? Any advice?
Yeah, I think it's go with being passionate. When the going gets tough and you think that it's not going to work out, it's the passion. It's for us anyways, feeling that we're having a positive impact that's going to keep you going. Otherwise, what's the point? Let's walk out the door, right?
All right. Well, thanks very much, Chloe and Florence Van Dyke.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks, Fiona.